here. So hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us, and welcome to the webinar on hybrid security, brought to you by GardaWorld Security and hosted by Inside Logistics. My name is Derek Lutze, and I'm the editor of Inside Logistics magazine. Today, I'm pleased to introduce our speakers from GardaWorld Security and Stealth Monitoring, a GardaWorld company. As you know, security is an integral and essential part of the transportation, logistics, warehousing, and overall supply chain sector, one that continues to evolve with new cutting-edge technologies. That's exactly where the experts at GardaWorld come in. Today, we're joined by Neil Kearney. He's the Director of Business Development at GardaWorld, as well as Sudesh Jangali, who's Regional Vice President of Sales in Canada with Stealth Monitoring. Neil and Sudesh will be discussing hybrid security, which combines the latest technology with human expertise to improve threat detection, response times, and overall safety. Some of the key areas that we'll be covering today include cargo theft, vandalism, intrusion protection, and several other benefits of hybrid security approach. Following their presentations, we will have some time for some questions. If you would like to ask Neil or Sudesh a question, please put it in the Q&A section, which you see in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. So without further ado, I'll hand things over to Neil, who will introduce himself and take us through how hybrid security can help modernize your security efforts. Over to you, Neil.
Thank you so much, Derek, and thank you everybody for taking the time to join us today. I know in your worlds it's crazy busy, and we really appreciate it. But it is always important to take the time to ensure that your security platform and your security program is robust, and you're doing everything you can to protect your people, your property, and your assets. And so we're going to take some time today to talk about combining technology with that man-guarding side to strengthen your supply chain security. Our agenda will be, I'm going to take you through the GardaWorld. I'm going to tell you a little bit about us and who we are and what we've done. And then we'll talk about some of the challenges within your industry, and then we'll address these challenges with hybrid security. We'll look at an overview of hybrid security, and then we'll look at the impact on the reduction of theft and intrusions. We'll take a look at two case studies. We've got two logistics and transportation case studies to look at, and then we'll wrap it up with a conclusion, and then we'll get into some questions. So just an overview of GardaWorld. We are the largest private security company in Canada. We're in 5 continents across 45 countries. We say with the experience, you need one united team of 132,000 employees around the globe. Our brands include our guarding services, our cash division. I'm sure maybe you've seen our cash trucks out there on the streets. We have a robust systems and technology team. We have a consulting and investigations team, which conducts audits and does investigations, internal investigations for corporations. This is all driven by former detectives for various police forces throughout the country. We have our Crisis 24, which is a fully integrated risk management platform and a travel assist program. And then lastly, we have TalentWorld, which is our staffing division, which is the non-guarding component of what we do. And they do everything staffing. In Canada, we have 35,000 security professionals operating out of 40 branches. We've been in business for 30 years. We're headquartered in Montreal, Quebec, and we're a Canadian success story. We started in Montreal, Quebec, when our current CEO took out a second mortgage and saw an opportunity in the security industry, and has grown it ever since into a multi-billion-dollar company. So let's talk about some challenges within the supply chain. So we see 4 key challenges that need attention. One is intrusion prevention. The other is internal and external theft. The other is cargo theft. And lastly, we see vandalism. I was just going to take it quickly. I won't spend too much time on this. I'm sure many of you have seen these numbers from CargoNet. If you haven't, I encourage you to just go to the website and take a look at some of these numbers. The number that stands out the most is that cargo theft is increasing, and it's increasing year over year. And so we had a 27 increase in 2024 over 2023. and the average loss per incident exceeded 200,000. And criminals shifted their focus over the past year to new high value goods such as copper, consumer electronics, and crypto mining hardware, while continuing to target food and personal care products. So we know it's out there. And then the last thing I'll touch on this is organized crime. This is not two guys going out and stealing a trailer. This is a very organized crime. You need a lot of people to pull this off, and you need to turn around and get those products back into the marketplace. So this is definitely organized crime. So let's talk about what we came here to talk about today, which is hybrid security solutions. And I'll just show you how it works at a glance. We've got 5 steps here. The first one is cameras with artificial intelligence can detect and identify a suspicious event. So the event could be a person trespassing onto the property with the intention to do harm, or it could be just an animal. And so artificial intelligence can detect that. Alerts are analyzed by our ULC certified operators at our contact center, and then operators can conduct a proactive voice down to remove the threat. So they can engage the threat right at the site. And then, of course, if required, that step 4 is to coordinate a response from security or law enforcement, depending what's needed. We have full suspect descriptions, and we're identifying locations and paths of travel, making it easier for the people that are arriving on site, whether they be security or police, to get to where they need to get. And then the last step is the step 5, which is assisting with the reporting, the forensic evidence, and any law enforcement investigations. So that's kind of it in a nutshell, but we'll go a little further into it in our case studies. The benefits of the hybrid security program is the rapid response, the cost efficiency, and the tailored solutions. So when we look at rapid response, we can get there quicker, and there's no time, there's no lost time in between that alert and that time of action. So it's a seamless process getting those first responders or emergency services out there. The cost efficiency is a security solution with less overall impact to your bottom line. So by pairing the omnipresence of always-on surveillance with manned guarding services, this approach provides enhanced protection for logistics and transportation areas. One of the things you'll see in the case studies is this solution is actually cheaper because we're using more technology and less physical guarding. And physical guarding costs more than technology. We're not taking away the physical guarding, we're just using less and enhancing it with that technology piece. And then tailored solutions, our hybrid solution, it's designed to be flexible. So it fits your facility, your warehouse, your yard, wherever. We have a large selection of surveillance solutions, endless configuration options, easy data retrieval and investigation support, and then custom reports on demand. So it fits, it's tailored to it's not a generic solution, it's tailored to your facility. And again, you're gonna see, we have 2 case studies, and you'll see the differences between the solutions, how they differ in each case study. And we're going to get into our case study 1, and I'm going to turn it over to Sudesh to take us through our case studies.
Thanks, Neil. Hi, everybody. I want to say thank you again. Reiterate what Neil mentioned in terms of taking some time out of your day to join us. Yeah, I was really excited to just talk about, how we're going to demonstrate through a couple of these case studies the benefit in combining our, both worlds when it comes to guarding, physical guarding, and our MSU and video surveillance models to better service your facilities out there. So in case study 1, if we dive right into it, it's a pretty powerful example for us as an organization. It's a global logistics company. This client came to us and presented a pretty significant challenge. They had a massive facility, and they were constantly being exposed to a high number of theft and vandalism, and a pretty sizable amount of illegal encampments. They needed more than traditional guards, and they really wanted to find a solution that was going to help them become a bit more efficient in scaling what they were currently doing, without just adding more bodies and on the guarding side, And so that's where the hybrid opportunity came in for us. Can we go to the next slide, Neil? Yeah. So prior to the intervention, as I mentioned, they had several issues. They were relying on a traditional guarding force that was already in place and doing a pretty decent job. But the facility is incredibly large, as you can see on the screen. And so the guards just couldn't be everywhere at all times. And there were some areas that were left unprotected, which made it a prime target for some theft. The company was also contending with just in general rising costs across the business. And they wanted to just make sure that they, as they moved into a potential hybrid solution, they weren't going to compromise their actual security efforts by just simply reducing guards. They wanted to make sure that they were able to manage and meld best of both worlds. And so if we can move to the next. And so what we did to address the challenges is we deployed our hybrid solution, which was a combination of what we call our MSUs, our mobile surveillance units, along with AI-powered cameras and remote monitoring. And so this enabled us to make real-time detection, proactive interventions on the site with monitoring at every corner of the facility within the cameras. We were able to utilize that in tandem with the guard and provide them effectively a 24/7 surveillance option without any blind spots, which was the challenge that they were facing to begin with. We can move to slide 15. So if we take, sorry, Neil, I'm just getting a bit of background. So if we, the customer was identified a couple different key spaces they wanted us to really target when we did our layouts. And so we identified some high risk zones for them and we made our suggestions accordingly. And so the AI was detecting the suspicious activity and then immediately alerting on-site guards. And that allowed them to get to the actual threat and respond without wasting time and with reducing the risk of false alarms. And so the key takeaway here was that for them was that technology wasn't going to replace, but it was going to enhance what we were doing already on the site. And so we tailored the deployment of the MSUs to fit the specific post orders. And for example, there was an MSU dedicated to protecting the overflow parking lot, as you can see here. And that was preventing unauthorized access while focusing on reducing the illegal encampments that they were dealing with and protecting employment vehicles from, various vandalism and catalytic converter thefts and other types of theft that were taking place, in that parking lot. With the custom orders, we could ensure that the critical areas were always covered, and it really helped to give not just the customer peace of mind, but also the employees. Gave them a lot more peace of mind, and that was one piece that I don't think anybody really took into account when we entered into this conversation. Was that a large number of their employees would go to work and then come back and there'd be this bit of anxiety of are they coming back to their windows smashed in, their vehicle being vandalized or stolen or what have you. And so that has dissipated, which we're really happy about. We can move to the next slide. And so as a result, for us, we feel like the solution kind of spoke for itself. The hybrid solution was in place, and the client was able to achieve a 62% reduction in overall guarding costs. But it wasn't, as I said, not about just saving money. It was really about enhancing the overall security at that facility. And so we're able to provide continuous 24/7 monitoring, significantly reducing false alarms and making the facility safer. And in our world, this really exemplified that that perfect solution of melding human oversight with AI technology and physical technology in our MSUs and our mini MSUs, and really come up with the best in class option for this particular client. So we will take a look at a second case study, which is more on a client that we work with that has a automation based solution they were looking for. And so this time we worked with the client. They needed to automate their access in and out of their facility. And they have, again, as you can see on the screen, a very large hub. The goal was pretty clear. They wanted to increase efficiency and reduce, some of the wait times on the entry process. But the big takeaway is always they don't want to minimize kind of the security. They don't want to enhance their risk by just throwing some other tool at it. So before the solution was implemented, we did a comprehensive overview, and the client was facing um, a series of challenges. And the main one was they had a manual process of checking license plates, IDs, and so forth when they're letting in the cargo, and then validating everything. And so sometimes that's, it can be a tedious process. It's manual. Mistakes can be made, and then inevitably it would create a bottleneck in the actual laneways. Which, when the bottleneck happened, it would create a lot of frustration for their inbound cargo clients. Moreover, large parts of the facility would continue to remain unprotected because we had the guards stationed at these key entrance spaces, and so that just led to some challenges on their end. Can we go to the next slide? So to address this, we introduced a couple technologies. So the first was an automated truck scanning and virtual gate guard. So using AI-powered cameras, we're able to automatically scan truck license plates and cargo numbers and the logos of the vehicles as they enter the facility. The technology works with our MSU units, which allows us to streamline the entire process and make it a bit more hands-off. And then it allows us also then take access control over the gate so that we can now open the gate when the vehicle is being validated. And so the guards aren't required any longer to stay at the gate and conduct that manual validation process. And so they were able to now be redeployed into other areas and focus on overseeing kind of the other key risk areas of the facility, which was a great win for them. We'll move to the next slide. So the key goals of the automated truck scanning solution were primarily, as I mentioned, differentiating vehicles using the AI to grant the access to facility, and then secondarily to create all the inbound and outbound activity in the database that can be searched in real time. So if the customer has to look back at something, they can actually go ahead and search that, and we can get that information for them. So eliminating that manual process, but then enhancing the ability to dig into the data and give data analytics was a really big win on their end that they weren't planning on. They just wanted to speed up the efficiency of getting people in and out safely. But now having data analytic to actually log and see how quickly they're getting people in, how quickly they're getting out, and then just the reality of just having a digital track record that could be sent out across to other members of the business and also their customers was a huge win on their end. We'll move to the next guard, Neil. So the virtual gate guard is what you're seeing here on the slide, and this is the unit that was deployed to automate the actual gate entry system. It's based on preset credentials, company logos, and a lot of exceptions that were effectively custom to the actual client. Now, if things weren't on the list or on the pre-approved, we were able to manage that through the command center. And so the technology itself just really helps to streamline that protection and access process for that particular facility. And finally, the results on the next slide will show that the client, through implementation, saw a substantial improvement within the first 30 days right out of the gate. So the replacement of the traditional gate guard post with technology resulted in 80% cost reductions per gate. And the integration of the AI-powered technology also led to 62% reduction in man guard hours in the truck lanes. So we also eliminated around 98.3% of errors on the data entry, which was a huge win that we never anticipated for them. And then the time spent waiting at the gates dropped from 3.4 minutes all the way down to, on average, 2 to 3 seconds at the gate. So the results, like as I've said before, not just a measure of cost savings, but efficiency and there's the ability to have the robust data to really analyze, how the business is running and working well. and I believe there's one more slide. Yeah, no, yeah. So actually, I'll pass it over to you now, Neil. Apologize.
Thanks, Sidesh. Appreciate it. So, we look at those studies and what are our key benefits there? Well, so we see efficiency. Automation reduces repetitive tasks, allowing personnel to focus on critical incidents. Faster response times. Wow, that's a huge one, right? Integrated systems deliver real-time alerts, minimizing delays in action. Broader coverage. The technology monitors areas that are challenging or impractical for human guards to oversee consistently. And that's a cost saver too, right? When we looked at that case study too, they reduced the man hours by 504 a week. That equates to about $750,000 in billing for guard services. Frees up a lot of money to put back into technology. Proactive protection. Anticipating risks helps migrate threats before they escalate. And then advanced threat detection. The AI and the IoT provide predictive insights, enabling proactive response. And lastly, cost effectiveness. Hybrid models optimize resource allocation, balancing those cost savings with robust security. So we're not talking about just spending less. We're talking about saving money, but focusing and building a more robust security platform. We're enhancing the platform at a lower cost. We're not taking anything away.